This is Old Cam.
And this is not a spring chicken. Today we're going to be talking about Valentine's Day.
Oh, it's actually St. Valentine's Day to be precise.
Mm-hmm.
It's celebrated in many countries around the world, although it remains a working day in most of them. Actually, it's always a working day.
It's always a working day.
So, but
although everybody's always gets antsy and wants to leave.
yeah. So just move forward a bit so I have enough room to make my mouse go up and down. St. Valentine's Day began as a liturgical celebration of one or more early Christian saints named Valentine. They had one or more.
I love it's one or more. It's usually just St. Valentine.
Yeah. Several martyrdom stories were invented for various Valentines that belong to the February 14th date. I mean, they created their own story. And then they later added martyr mythologies.
What? The martyr mythology?
Yeah. The popular hagiographical account of St. Valentine of Rome states he was in prison for performing weddings for soldiers who were forbidden to marry and ministering to Christians who were persecuted under the Roman Empire, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because that's what, they didn't persecute Christians, they persecuted Jews. There's a little bit of a difference. So they fed the Jews to the lions because we thought, well, they fed the Christians to the lions. No, they actually really didn't. The Christians were actually going. Remember St. Constantine?
Mm-hmm.
Constantine, yeah, the Holy Roman Emperor. So today, St. Valentine's Day is an official feast in the Anglican Communion as well as Lutheran Church. The Eastern Orthodox Church also celebrates St. Valentine's Day, except on the 6th of July and later July 30th.
July?
It's
really?
a Greek. Remember, they don't use the same calendar as we do.
That's true.
Okay, what happened here? So, former date in honor of the Roman presbyter Saint Valentine, and a later date in honor of her hero martyr Valentine, the bishop of modern tyranny in Brazil. The Dia de Sola Valentine is recognized July. But basically, we got lots of Valentines, folks.
And while the European folk traditions connected with St. Valentine and St. Valentine's Day have become marginalized by the modern Anglo-American customs connecting the day with romantic love, there are some remaining associations reconnecting the saint with the advent of spring.
They're all pagan holidays. Everything in the Christian religion is a result of pagan holiday.
I know. It's like Easter, what has to do with the spring.
Yeah.
From the pagan holiday.
Yeah, because the Druids are celebrating it in a few hours.
They are. Valentine's Day or spring?
Well, it's Valentine's Day. They don't celebrate Valentine's Day. They're celebrating the opening of spring, and so we're going to be a little late on that one.
And while the custom of sending cards, flowers, chocolates, and gifts originated in the UK, Valentine's Day still remains connected with various regional customs in England. In Norfolk, a character called Jack Valentine knocks on the rear door of houses leaving sweets and presents for children, although he was leaving treats and many children were scared of this mystical person.
Because it's my guest, it was Jack Frost.
Oh.
He was trying to lure the children out into the bad weather. So Jack Frost is not much. And in Slovenia, St. Valentine, or Zirokov, was one of the saints of spring, the saint of good
springtime?
Health, and the patron of beekeepers and pilgrims. A proverb said that St. Valentine brings the key of roots, plants, and flowers start to grow this day. It has been celebrated as the day when the first work in the vineyards in the field come up, which is why the Druids are celebrating it today. It is also said that the birds propose to each other or marry on that day. Another proverb says, Valentine, Privi Smolatin, Valentine, the first day of spring saint, and in some places, especially White Carolia. St. Valentine marks the beginning of the spring. Valentine's Day has only recently been celebrated as the Day of Love.
The Day of Love was traditionally March 12th, St. Gregory's Day, or February 22nd, St. Vincent's Day. I didn't know there was a St. Vincent's Day.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And the patron of love was St. Anthony, whose day has been celebrated on June 13th.
Yeah, we got Lupercalia. There's no evidence of any link between St. Valentine's Day and the Rite of Ancient Rome Festival, except the fact that it's linked directly to it up and down. Despite being well known and claimed by many authors that that's the truth.
And the celebration of St. Valentine did not have any romantic connotation quotations and tell of Chaucer's poetry about Valentines in the 14th century.
Yeah, the popular modern sources claim links to the unspecified Greco-Roman February holidays alleged to be devoted to fertility and love to St. Valentine's Day. But prior to Chaucer in 14, remember, if you went to college, you got to read that crap. So, early links, as early described, were focused on human sacrifice rather than romantic love. In the ancient Athenian calendars period between mid-January and mid-February, the month of Gamion, dedicated to the scarce sacred marriage of Zeus and Hera.
And Alvin Butler, in his Lives of the Principal Saints from 1756 to 1759, claimed without proof that men and women in Lupercalia drew names from a jar to make couples, and that modern Valentine's letters originated from this custom. In reality, this practice originated in the Middle Ages with no link to Lupercalia, with men drawing the names of girls or granted to couple with them. This custom was combated by priests, for example by Francis de Sales around the 1600s, apparently by replacing it with the religious custom of girls drawing the names of apostles from the altar. However, this religious custom is recorded as soon as the 13th century in the life of Saint Elizabeth of Hungary, so it could have a different origin.
You know, we got the St. Valentine's Day postcards, circa 1910. In 1797, the British publisher issued the Young Man's Valentine Rider, which contained some suggestive sentimental verses, basically, you could go talk about that.
What, really?
That printers had already, lines that they could give people in 1797.
Oh.
Printers had already begun producing a limited number of cards with verses and sketches called Mechanical Valentines, and a reduction in postal rates in the next century ushered in the less personal but easier practice of mailing Valentines. That way you could do the John Alden bit where can't you speak for yourself, John? No, because somebody else could write the Valentine note for you. Then in turn made it possible the first time to exchange cards anonymously, which is taken as the reason for the sudden appearance of a racy verse, in other words, Victoria, England, yeah.
And paper Valentines became so popular in England in the early 19th century that they were assembled in factories. Fancy Valentines were made with real lace and ribbons, with paper lace introduced in the mid-19th century. In 1835, 60,000 Valentine cards were sent by post in Britain despite postage being expensive. Laura Saddam greeting card collection from the Manchester Metropolitan University gathers 450 Valentine's Day cards dating from the early 19th century, painted by the major publishers of the day. This collection is cataloged in Laura Saddam's book Victorian Valentines from 1996.
That's why Hallmark Cards is so huge a company, because Hallmark Cards basically got into the Valentine business. The United States, the first mass-produced Valentines when Boss paper lace were produced and sold shortly after 1847 by Esther Holland of Worcester, Massachusetts. Her father operated a large book and stationery store where Helen took inspiration from English Valentines she received from business associate. Intrigued with the idea of making similar Valentines, she began her business by importing paper, lace, and floral decorations from England. Ryder and Graham American Monthly observed in 1849, St. Valentine's Day has become the national holiday. The English practice of sending Valentine cards was established enough to feature as a plot device in Elizabeth Gaskell's Mr. Harrelson's Confessions. I burst with my expectations. The Valentine, I know nothing about it. It is in your handwriting, he said coldly. So basically, somebody sent a Valentine and they got caught.
And since the 19th century, handwritten notes have given way to mass-produced greeting cards. In the UK, just under half of the population spend money on their Valentines, and around 1.3 billion pounds are spent yearly on cards, flowers, chocolates, and other gifts, with an estimated 25 million cards being sent. The mid-19th century Valentine's Day trade was a harbinger of further commercialized holidays in the U.S. to follow.
Yeah, they said,
and it's a big commercial holiday.
They said the average expense per person this year is $133 per person, which I don't get.
I don't think
I've
so.
never seen anybody spend $133 for Valentine's Day.
Well, no, if you go out to dinner.
Well, yeah, most people don't. I spent a lot more than that once, but that was, I made a Valentine out of $1,000 bill and gave it to Cynthia. So
that was a good Valentine.
Yeah, that was a very expensive Valentine.
But who's counting?
Who counts? No. If you got it, you get it.
That's right.
In the second half of the 20th century, the practice of exchanging cards was extended to all manner of gifts. Gifts such include roses, chocolate, packed in red satin, heart-shaped boxes. In 1980s, the Diamond Independent promoted Valentine's Day. I know, yeah, they did that to a Valentine's necklace. So you get stuck when you're married, a lot of things. U.S. greeting card, 190 million Valentines are sent each year in the U.S. Half of the Valentines are given to family members other than
Half of them, half of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Usually the other go to children. While you include Valentine's change cards in school activities, the figure goes up to 1 billion. But what it is the teachers on the left are now forbidding it though.
I know, I think,
Now,
because they're concerned about the kids that don't get Valentine's.
okay, you know what we did when we had that problem when I was a kid a zillion years ago.
Well,
We
it's
made
been
our own
around.
Valentines in school. Everybody made their own Valentine and then you put them in a thing.
And they're supposed to give everybody the same.
So they give everybody, you knew how many kids were in the room, so you made 20 Valentines. And the parents were more, okay, to put it this way, you could go to the store and buy your mother a Valentine, or you could make a Valentine for your mother in school. They always were happier with the Valentines that you got, that you made.
Of course.
And then you sit there and scribbled your name, you know. So, basically, due to concentrated marketing effort, Valentine's Day is celebrated in East Asian countries, with China and Korea spending most of the money on Valentine's gifts.
Oh.
You know, see, this is her area now.
Okay. In China, the common situation is the man gives chocolate, flowers, or both to the woman that he loves. In Chinese, Valentine's Day is called Lovers' Festival. The so-called Chinese Valentine's Day is a Qixi festival celebrated on the 7th day of the 7th month of the lunar calendar, 7/7. It commemorates a day on which a legendary cow herder and weaving maid are allowed to be together. Valentine's Day on February 14th is not celebrated because it is often too close to the Chinese New Year, which usually falls in either January or February. And we are still under Chinese New Year's right now, and it happens to be the year of the horse.
Yeah.
And in Chinese culture, there is an older observance related to lovers called the Night of Sevens. According to the legend, the cowherd star and the weaver maiden are normally separated by the Milky Way, but are allowed to meet by crossing it on the 7th day of the 7th month of the Chinese calendar. In recent years, celebrating White Day has also become fashionable among some young people.
Oh, then we got Finland and Estonia. In Finland, Valentine's Day is called Jasvadeplaf, which translates into Friends Day. As the name indicates, this day is more about remembering all your friends, not only your loved ones. In Estonia, Valentine's Day is called Slovakia, which has the same meaning.
I love it. And in France, a traditionally Catholic country, Valentine's Day is known simply as St. Valentine's and is celebrated in much the same way as other Western countries.
In Greece, St. Valentine's Day, I love this one. Hypatu Yao Blackwoodview.
And it was not associated with romantic love. In the Eastern Orthodox Church, there is another saint who protects people who are in love. Hyacinth of Caesarea, the feast of July 3rd, but in contemporary Greece, this tradition has mostly been superseded by the globalized form of Valentine's Day.
And they do, in India, in antiquity, there was a tradition adorning Kamavya, the Lord of Love, exemplified by the erotic carvings in the Khajuraho group of monuments and the writings of Kama Sutra, Treaty of Lovemaking. This tradition was lost around the Middle Ages when Kamadeva was no longer celebrated in public displays of sexual affection. But you can be just as naked as you want in India, you just can't kiss people, which I always thought was funny. In the state of West Bengal, Sarwati, Paju, a festival observed in the early spring where Sarwati, the goddess of learning, is worshipped, has often been seen as Bengali version of Valentine's Day, especially among the urban middle class. So I could probably read this one.
Valentine's Day celebrations didn't catch on in India until around 1992. It was spread due to the programs and commercial TV channels such as MTV and dedicated radio programs and love letter competitions, in addition to an economical liberalization that allowed the explosion of the Valentine card industry. Economic liberalization also helped the Valentine's Day card industry.
Oh, they got some unbelievable Valentine music. You got to hear those guys and women sing their love songs.
Oh my God. And the celebration has caused a sharp change on how people have displayed their affection in public since the Middle Ages.
You know, it's been strongly criticized from a post-colonial perspective by intellectuals from the Indian left. the holiday is regarded as a front for Western. It didn't happen until after they left by 40 years, so it can't be a front for Western imperialism. The neo-colonialism and the exploitation of working classes through commercialization of multinational corporations. Studies have shown that St. Valentine's Day promotes and exacerbates income equality in India and aids in the creation of pseudo-westernized middle class. As a result, the working classes and rural poor become more disconnected socially and politically and geographically because of the power, the capitalistic power of the Valentine. They also criticized mainstream media attacks on Indians opposed to Valentine's Day as a form of demonstration that is designed and derived to further the Valentine's Day agenda. Right-wing Hindu nationalists are also very hostile. In February of last year, Subhash Kahu, of the Benjwa Dali, warned that couples that they may not kiss or hug in public places or activists will beat them up. I hate to tell people this, but you don't kiss in public in India, no matter.
You can get thrown into jail. Didn't Richard Gere?
Richard Gere he did what they do in movies. I mean, I don't know how many times we went to a gifting suite yesterday, and half the women come up to you.
We do
So-
kiss on each side.
That's it, one side on side, and I've never got the reason behind that, but that's what they do.
Turn
So
the other cheek.
he did that to one of their biggest stars at a film festival. He didn't do it in India. He did it like at the Cannes Film Festival, and they blew their
They
top.
did it at the Cannes Film Festival and they blew it up?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Because that was totally improper. She didn't kiss the person. Okay, Richard Gere is a practicing whatever the religion of the Dalai Lama, so which is Hindu. He knows better than to go smooshing people in public, and he just did the old.
And he's still.
And they wanted to throw him in a jail cell for the rest of his life.
Oh my gosh. See, so beware of where you kiss people because it could cause a problem.
Yeah, we got a good one. In Iran, the Sperandimajan, or Afghanistan, is a festival where people express love towards their mothers and wives. It is also a celebration of Earth and ancient Persian culture. It has been progressively forgotten in favor of the Western celebration of Valentine's Day. The Association of Iran's Culture and National Phenomena has been trying since 2006 to make Siparanjan a national holiday on the 17th in order to replace the Western holiday. Which means, okay, we're going to put it this way. Smooching goes over well all over the world, and it's a big thing, so I lost my Israel thing.
Well, in Israel,
I thought what happened.
you skipped up a lot.
Well, it jumped
It
real
jumped.
quick. It jumped all of a sudden on me. I'll get back to Israel.
You know where Israel is.
I know, it's just...
I kind of like these traditions around the world.
Well, no, I thought that this would be different this year than what we've been doing. We give you the history, but we're also going to show you, I mean, I actually trimmed this down. There's like 36 pages, which is really funny, but that thing jumped like about 10 pages.
Okay.
No.
In Israel, the Jewish tradition of Tu B'Av has been revived and transformed into the Jewish equivalent of Valentine's Day. It is celebrated on the 15th day of the month of Av, usually in late August. And in ancient times, girls would wear white dresses and dance in the vineyards where their boys would be waiting for them. Today, Tu B'Av is celebrated as the second holiday of love by secular people besides St. Valentine's Day. Oh, they have two Valentines then.
Yeah.
And it shares many of the customs associated with St. Valentine's Day in Western societies. In modern Israeli culture, Tu B'Av is a popular day to pronounce love, propose marriage, and give gifts like cards or flowers.
Because remember, Hava, Nagila,
Oh, is that
Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nahoy, Hava, Nagila, Hoy. The family Jews, folks.
And in Japan, Morozov introduced the holiday for the first time in 1936, where it ran an advertisement aimed at foreigners. Later in 1953, it began promoting the giving of heart-shaped chocolates. Other Japanese confectionery companies followed suit thereafter. In 1958, the Isetan department store ran a Valentine's sale. Further campaigns during the 1960s popularized the custom. Basically, there were more Americans over there.
Yeah.
They were trying to get their
becoming-
business.
The society is totally, it's been...
It's become much more international.
Yeah, and then the international, they want to be part of it, and they love chocolate. That's the whole bit, folks. It's an excuse to eat something that's not good. Well, our president basically this morning condemned it. They
condemned chocolate this morning.
They condemned the eating of the sugar that's in chocolate. He said that you should eat bitter. Obamacare recommends you eat bitter sweet chocolate and not chocolate with sugar in it.
I'm
It's
gonna
bad.
put out a chocolate thing with
They put a
Godiva.
special tax on you.
And the custom that only women give chocolate to men appears to have originated from the translation era of a chocolate company executive during the initial campaigns.
Yeah, I know. Ladies give, unlike Western countries, gifts such as greeting cards, candies, flowers, or dinner dates are uncommon, and most of the activity about the girl gifts is giving the right amount of chocolate.
The right amount of chocolates.
I know.
Interesting. So however many chocolates makes a difference.
Yeah, it's all about, it's okay, it's not about diamonds, it's not about flowers, it's about how